sorry I can't make it tonight to Summer League, but I do want to run through the safety brief real quick with you guys. So I know a lot of you guys have done this before, but let's get back to it real quick. Most often, I just want you guys to remember that this is a safety management system, right? So it is a little bit more stringent rules than what we frequently think about when we are walking around just normally if you're concealed, things like that. So first thing is, if you're in the store during the Summer League event, okay, no loaded firearms, okay? Now you don't have to have the action open in your holster, but it cannot be loaded, okay? Second thing to remember, no handling of a firearm outside of the safety area. In this case, the safety area is going to be the range that's right behind me, okay? So then we're not using the pistol lanes for tonight. We're actually going to use the Milo range again. So this safety area that you can handle a firearm in, okay? Outside of the safety area, that is to say in the common areas of the store, if you guys want to handle ammunition, that's totally fine. But the only time that we bring ammunition and the firearm together is once we are under RSO control in the course, which in this case is going to be in the Milo, okay? So those are the big things to make sure that we remember there, okay? If you're concerned about security, the staff will be armed and they will not draw any firearms throughout the entire event for just the reasons that we talked about, okay? Once we are starting the course, okay, quick reminder that anytime that you hear a whistle or the word ceasefire, okay, that is your signal to immediately stop doing what you're doing, okay, and bring your weapon down, clear it, and then follow RSO instructions from there. Quick brief on the scoring here. If you're in Zone A, 0-second time penalty. If you're in Zone C here, 2-second time penalty. Zone D is a 3-second time penalty, and if you miss the target entirely, that is going to be a 5-second time penalty for you. Now, when we start the course of fire, a couple things that we need to remember is going to be our standard RSO callouts. Okay, first thing when you walk in the door, RSO is going to verify your name. Once you do that, he's going to verify to make sure that you have the proper amount of rounds, the proper amount of magazines, hearing protection, and eye protection. Okay, at that point, once we verify that we have all those requirements met, RSO is going to instruct you to take the start position. Now, only then is when you can cross our red line and go to the start position, okay? At that point, the RSO is going to say, shooter, you may load and make ready. And once you load and make ready, that means that you can then take a magazine out, you can place the magazine in the firearm, and then you can chamber around. Okay, we're going to start all of these courses from low ready, not from a holster. Okay, so once you have loaded and make ready, always a good opportunity to take and make sure that you just can find your optic, know where it is, find your sights if that's your style, and then the RSO is going to ask you, are you ready? That's a good time to say yes, but if you are not ready, that is when you need to definitely say something, because the next thing you're going to hear from the RSO is stand by. When the RSO says stand by, that's when we're going to start the countdown timer. Approximately 3 seconds later, you'll hear the beep, and that is when you will start the course of fire, which we'll talk about course 4 in a separate video. At the end of the course of fire, you're going to hear the RSO say, when finished, unload and show clear. At that point, remember, we talked about this a lot, guys, but make sure that you are keeping the firearm pointed down range. If you're turning at all, keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction and turn your body, and avoid the temptation to go ahead and point the firearm over towards the side or towards the RSO that's coming to look over your shoulder, okay? Make sure that you keep it pointed in a safe direction, consistent with the 4 fundamental rules of firearm safety. So, unload is going to be drop your magazine, show clear will be to pull the slide back, and then show the RSO that the magazine's clear. At that point, he's going to tell you to send the slide forward and holster. And at that point, you can do those things. We'll call that if we have a cold range, and then we can start the grading. Okay, those are the standard RSO callouts. Only other thing that you might hear from the RSO is going to be something like a whistle or a ceasefire. So let's go through real quick what you would expect for the match DQs. Okay, Any shot that does not impact the bullet backstop, okay? A shot that occurs while loading or unloading a firearm. A negligent discharge during any kind of a malfunction clearing. If you guys have a malfunction while you're going through the course of fire, I recommend that if you're going to try and clear that, you need to know what you're doing and you need to be comfortable clearing malfunctions. That's a very, very easy time to get a negligent discharge, and that's going to be a definite DQ on that guy and an extremely unsafe scenario. Okay. Any shot that goes off from a transition to a strong hand or a weak hand, any shot that goes off while moving, if you're not engaging a target. The biggest by far issue that we have is the 180-degree rule. So remember that in this case, because the target is always one direction, we need to make sure that the barrel of the gun never goes more than 180 degrees from the direction of the target. Okay, and I would highly encourage you to build habit patterns that don't get anywhere close to it. Okay. Most common infractions that we have on that is going to be during the reload, or again after the run is complete when somebody's trying to get their slide back to show that they're clear. Okay. Dropping a gun, and if you drop the gun, do not pick it up. Do not try and catch it. Let it fall to the ground and try and stay in a safe direction. Okay. Muzzling yourself or muzzling anyone else. Having a loaded firearm outside of RSO control. Okay. And then the catch-all is just going to be any kind of unsafe gun handling. I would just really quick remind you that we are very serious about the safety rules. We are not kidding about this. So please build good habit patterns. Think about the 4 fundamental rules of firearm safety. And if you have any questions, ask one of our staff here at the Gun Garage. Okay. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you here shortly in the Course of Fire brief.